Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'll just say to Mr. Whitaker, my questions normally in a normal oversight committee would be vastly different than the direction I'm going to go because we've kind of wandered into this other stream over here. So I'm going to ask you some questions. The longstanding constitutionally based Department of Justice policy holds that a sitting president cannot be indicted. Is that, and that's based on the last review which happened during the Clinton administration, is that still in effect or has it changed?
That is still the policy of the Department of Justice.
Have you spoken to Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein about his statements on invoking the 25th Amendment and wiretapping President Trump?
I have seen the statements by Deputy Rosenstein that he made to the press regarding those statements, and I have no reason to believe that he did not, that those statements were consistent with what he believed at the time.
Okay, I'm not sure I understood that. You said no reason to believe that they were not consistent, so there are a couple of negatives there. Do you believe they were consistent to what he believed at the time?
I do. I believe what Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein said to the press when it was first reported about his discussion.
Oh, you're talking about his comments, not his comments to the press, not the ones about him wearing a wire.
I'm talking about Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein's comments to the press after it was reported that he had considered wearing a wire and invoking the 25th Amendment.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but his responses then you think are consistent. So did you talk to him about this issue at all?
I'm not here to talk about the internal discussions that I have with the.
But this is really critical. It's not, with all due respect, this is not an ongoing. This has nothing to do with an ongoing investigation. What it has got to do with is Mr. Rosenstein and his role as an unbiased overseer of the Mueller investigation. So it's not directly dealing with the investigation, but deals with his capacity to be unbiased. So I'm not asking whether, I'm not trying to get into the substance or even the periphery. I want to know, though, did you have a conversation with Mr. Rosenstein about his comments as reported?
Congressman, this is an important question to you, but I'm not going to answer my conversations with Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein. I believe that they are deliberative. Obviously, I'm exercising the full responsibilities of the acting Attorney General position.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I know that that answer is important to you. I know that's important to you. But the answering in a way that we as the American people can understand, that's important to us. So let's get to June 21st, 2017, where you said the truth is there was no collusion with the Russians in the Trump campaign. There was interference by the Russians into the election, but there was not collusion with the campaign. That's where the left seems to be combining these two issues. The last thing they want right now is the truth to come out. And the fact that there's not a single piece of evidence that demonstrates that the Trump campaign had any illegal or even improper relationships with the Russians. It's that simple. Do you still adhere to that statement? Is that still true in your mind today?
Congressman, as I mentioned before to previous questioning about my statements as a private citizen before I joined the Department of Justice, those were made based on publicly available information, and I had no inside information. I did not know the details of the investigation. I obviously know the traditions of the Department of Justice, the rules and regulations, and I'm going to continue to follow those as I exercise the duties.
I remember the answers that you gave to other similar questions, but not this question here. And so that's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is, as we sit here today, a year and a half later, has your opinion changed from what you stated June 21st, 2017? Has it changed? That's a simple question. That's not hard.
Congressman, the special counsel's investigation is an ongoing investigation, and I'm not going to characterize that investigation or give you my opinion of that investigation as I sit here today.
So the scope memo indicates that the scope of the Mueller investigation was any links and or coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with the campaign of President Donald Trump, and two, any matters that arose or may arise directly from that investigation. Has that scope been expanded in any way?
Congressman, as I was discussing with Representative Jordan, I am not going to talk about the scope of the special counsel's.
All right, then I'll go forward then and say the indictments and the relation to scope one: Papadopoulos for false statements occurring after Mueller was appointed, Manafort for acts unrelated to the election or campaign, Gates acts unrelated to the election or the campaign, Flynn false statements about post-election conversations, Richard Pinetto, unrelated to campaign or election. Cohen, referred by Mueller to Southern District of New York because it was out of his scope. Sam Patton, not related to the 2016 election or campaign. And Stone for false statements occurring after Mueller was appointed. Not one indictment alleged an illegal relationship between a member of the Trump campaign and Russia. And that's consistent with what we've seen so far. And with that, thank you, Mr. Chairman.